Very good noon to all of you. Sunny has made my task very difficult. When I got the schedule yesterday, and it had no participation from any alumni, I said, how can I countenance a situation like this? Someone from the alumni has to speak and speak the truth. I never thought in 2 minutes or so he will speak not the truth but absolute truth. And Sunny's helicopter really took a flight, ignoring air pockets, headwind, and difficult situations. I can tell you, presence of every alumni is felt here, and your absence on the dais is equally felt. It shall not happen next time. Honorable Governor of Punjab, Shri Banwarilal Purohit ji, he has always been inspiration and motivation for me. A man of great learning, simplicity and sublimity. His presence speaks volumes. Shri Som Prakash ji, Union Minister, brings on the table bureaucratic experience also. Shri Gurmeet Singh Meet Hayes ji, I am impressed by his way of dress, the way he carries himself, and I had made a terribly wrong judgment about him. I thought he was a student or an alumni. The least I expected was him to be a minister, worthy minister. Professor Rajkumar, the Vice Chancellor in his second term, faces the task which he has to grapple with. And alumni have to provide him both enlightenment, direction, focus, and strength. You have sometimes in the crowd people you know. And crowd I am using because when you have a group of intelligentsia, well, that it is. Am I right? We have Mr. Satpal Jain, a former member of Parliament, a distinguished senior advocate who has made his presence felt virtually in every High Court and the Supreme Court. But when it comes to ethics and taking view on things, he is friend of none. I, as Chancellor, will have tough time dealing with him. Yes, you are right, but beware of your friends if they believe in objectivity. Friends, I am product of education, let me tell you. And therefore you can appreciate how greatly I value being amongst you all. It is absolute delight and privilege and honor. Rarely have I come across a group as celebrated as alumni of this very prestigious institution that has a huge history. And from this platform I can always reflect that if we look into our historical past, we were home to some of the world's best universities, Nalanda being one of them. We must aim to be in that level. I am sure alumni and Sunny in particular will have to respond. How come it is only third global alumni meet? But doesn't matter, a beginning has been made to bring all these people on the same platform, to give back to their alma mater and through the alma mater to the society at large. It was so heartening to note that in his very brief intervention, he could indicate all that he gathered. And I am reminded of a situation of an old lady. She was diseased, She was blind. She was in penury. She had a son who was unemployed and not married. And the Almighty appeared and asked her, get one thing you want. She could have sought good health, vision for herself, livelihood for the family, marriage for the son, or employment for the son. But she was something as energetic and knowledgeable as my London friend Satpal Jain. So she came out with a wonderful idea which Sunny came out. सोने की थाली में पोते को हंसता खेलता दिखा दो. Now, it is challenge to the alumni to create that kind of ecosystem and scenario for this great institution. One of my most heartening, satisfying moments as Governor of West Bengal was when I got a call from a gentleman from the US that, can you spare some time for us? I am an alumni of IIT Kharagpur and we are having a function at Kharagpur. So can we call on you? I said, no. You can call on me with some kind of a price tag, and that is have breakfast with me, all of you, and I'll be there at the meet also. So I invited all of them at breakfast at Rajbhavan and went all the way to Kharagpur. I could take a chopper. They traveled by road, so I could spend more time in dealing 2-3 of them. Trust me, the passion and mission with which the alumni worked for IIT Kharagpur impressed me, impacted me. It reminded me suddenly, what have I done for my own Sainik School, Chittorgarh? Not that I have done nothing. I have made some contributions. So alumni, they are the roots of an institution. The deeper they go, more it grows. And therefore, please, do all you can. And there are ways to do it. I am sure I need not to focus on that. It is a historic university, as was indicated by the Honorable Vice Chancellor. Oldest, one of the oldest in the country. And if from this university a message emanates by virtue of its name, locale, background, the message will be global. And I have no doubt alumni of this institution are perhaps on various parts of the globe. Many leading lights of free India, former presidents, prime ministers, scientists, industry leaders, artists, sportsmen, trace their roots to this great institution. And I would therefore make one reflection. I had gone to Merit, and the bar was good enough to invite me. I had gone there in my capacity as a senior advocate. A group of 400 lawyers invited me for lunch, and one of them, our bar has the distinction of having a former prime minister as its member. I said, where is the portrait? The bar didn't have a portrait of the former prime minister who happened to be member of the Merit bar at one point of time. Chaudhry Charan Singh. I gave them a rude shock. And I had the great fortune and occasion to be part of unveiling of that portrait by former President Gyani Jail Singh Ji. I was there. Sir, with such great legacy and brilliant minds like Sunny and others, your impact has to be far more effective. I know you are very impactful, it has to be far more penetrating. Sunny made a reflection, somewhat hurt, that he was substitute of someone else. A human being can never be substitute of another. More so an alumni who has his own standing. But I'll narrate an incident which I suffered. I was Parliamentary Affairs Minister at a junior level 34 years ago. And there was a global meet on aerospace area with which you are involved. And the Honorable President Venkat Ramanji then was to inaugurate it. There was some problem. The next gentleman, the Civil Aviation Minister, who is a governor in a southern state now, was to inaugurate it. He also had a problem. And when you have such problems, Satpal Jain, a former parliamentarian, will tell you 24/7 a junior parliamentary affairs minister is always at your disposal. So I was there. Sunny, I had only one condition. I said, please don't address me as president or civil aviation minister. Address me only as who I am, because they go by the printed text. So, sir, we value greatly your contribution, illuminating, focused, and suggestive also. I had the occasion to reflect a while ago that India is on the rise as never before. And our rise is unstoppable. The world has taken note of us. Our voice is heard. India matters as never before. India is a power in a de facto sense. And all this has happened because in recent years, affirmative steps have been taken to unleash our talent. We are providing a platform to every worthy young man and women to exploit talent and potential. And that is why, look at the number of startups we have. Look at the unicorns with fiscal dimension in billions this country is having. There is hardly a global legal entity in commercial world that does not have at the apex level footprint of an Indian mind. And this is being narrated to you by one who went to a bank in 1979 for a loan of 6,000 rupees so that I could have my library. I'm still gratified to the bank manager who could pick up courage then to give me 6,000 rupees. And now, it is of no consequence. You need to have an idea. Fiscal considerations are in the background. Why we should not relish rise of India? Why should we not appreciate this ecosystem? Why should we allow few people to talk of out of line without a rational approach, without any rational, and to spoil our pudding? I am always in favor of opposite point of view. That can quite often be the right point of view. But then, our Bharat has to be kept as our first consideration. And from that perspective, I wish to indicate to you, when Mr. Satpal Jain was Member of Parliament or I was, we had power in our hand of 50 gas connections. Honorable members of the Alumni Association, 50 gas connections in a year. And imagine, 180 million gas connections were given free to needy households. A figure that will stun any economist from the West or anyone involved with governance in the Western world. We achieved it. to give vaccination to 1.3 billion people twice with a booster. And to achieve it in the face of difficulties created by some misguided souls. They questioned the efficacy of it, the approach of it. And they created a scenario as if something was happening here, not happening anywhere else in the world. During COVID, robust health infrastructure of the West, we saw the collapse of it, even in the highly concentrated commercial domain of Manhattan, or the scenario that was reflected in the corridors of hospitals in London or in countries of Europe. There the civil society or any wing of the state did not create hurdle. Here, when I reflect within, I find for no reason people engaged in various disciplines, a microscopic number created problems for us. I therefore appeal to the alumni, the intellectual class. Time has come when we need to believe in our accomplishments, share the joy of our accomplishments, and provide antidotal stance to those who are coming in the way of such enjoyment by our people. Right now, what is happening is unimaginable. Look at the growth of infrastructure. In the rural area, in the semi-urban area, and in cosmopolitans, it matches the best in the world. After a long gap, to see that the need is met, there was evolution of new education policy. Stakeholders from all walks of life, inputs were secured. I am privy to that, both in my position as governor and otherwise. Visionary steps have been taken because a need was felt that education alone can be convinced to bring about transformation in the society that can give solution to our problems and find emergence of an ecosystem that is balanced and holistic and all-inclusive. I do hope this policy will find acceptance also in certain small areas where they are yet to adopt it. I strongly commend this organization to take steps to enlighten the people, because if we compromise on our educational values and the way it is taught, we are impacting not only one generation, but the adverse impact will be felt in our total growth trajectory and future generations. Alumni can give directions that can inspire the faculty and students. Alumni can generate an ecosystem where the present student population here is motivated to engage in research, innovation. I can share my concern with you. As Chancellor of Punjab University, I find, without being critical, it's too early for me to start, we have to exploit our potential. We have to make a big difference. The present state of affairs needs to be revisited, not because there is fault in it, but there has to be generational change in technological point of view. Punjab University has to live up to its reputation. Punjab University has to make available a role model which the best in the world can emulate. And I can assure you, the present government keeps education as a priority sector. With that being the situation, there is emergence in the country of institutes of excellence, institutes that have been upgraded and recalibrated. We have number of IITs, IIMs coming up. But a great challenge that emerges is, do we have qualitative faculty? Infrastructure for a university is only one part. It is the faculty and the leadership that makes a difference. I have had already 3 interactions with your worthy Vice Chancellor. I have tried to know from him what are the problems. It is my job to be your foot soldier. It is my job to be honorary member of the Alumni Association. I wish to be gratified by that status so that I can open my window to any suggestions that come from the Alumni Association. We can work in togetherness and in tandem to serve the cause of this great institution. I have no doubt that the student community, our Gurujans in the university and alumni, if they are on the same page, and they are bound to be on the same page for commonality of interest and to serve the society and nation at large, then the day is not far. And I think the great event comes within 3 years. We will have the occasion to be in the big league at a global level. I therefore will make one appeal to members of the alumni. Please spare some time to send an email to the Chancellor of the University, who is also Vice President of the country, and you can trust me, I will give a focused attention to every email. Generate a platform of interaction, and then you can expect from your Chancellor even most difficult decisions. I am grateful, honored and privileged to be amongst you all, and I do hope I will have occasion to come here next year also, where I will find a more organized alumni association office bearers taking control of the program, and the Honorable Vice Chancellor and myself will only be collaterally present. Once again, grateful to all of you.